Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? It's so nice to be here. Welcome back. If it's any of yours first time, okay. If any of you are tuning in for the first time, or if this is one of the first episodes you've listened to, hello, hi. I'm so happy that our paths have crossed. My name is Talia Joy. How do I say what I am? Well, I'm a retreat host, I know that, and a podcast host, author in the making, but I'm a life coach, spiritual mentor, intuitive guide, all the things, helping you to step into the life that you see in your mind's eye. And as you go on this awakening journey, there's a lot of big stuff that goes on. There's healing and personal transformation and self-growth and manifestation and all these different things. And this is what we move through on the show, and we really cut through the fluff. We talk about the real journey of transformation from the spiritual to the practical, but we bring it right down to the ground so that we can integrate it into our life. We make it real. So I'm really excited that you're here. We've got a great topic today, talking about taking big things and making them real. We are talking about the power of yes and how it accelerates your momentum. So I can't wait to talk about this episode or talk about this topic in this episode, because whether you're feeling stuck right now or you're feeling like you're really in a momentum or really ready for more, this is going to help you. So again, whether we are going through rough patches or we're feeling amazing and magnetic, we can take these tools, but they can just meet us where we're at. And so I'll talk about that for those of you that are, going through a rough bit, and for those of you that are feeling pretty good, and for everything in between, really. So with that, I am excited to dive in. The only two things I wanted to mention is when this episode drops in real time, we have just a couple more days till Life of Magic starts. You can start after 10:10, but we start the live round 10:10. It's a 21-day journey to really step into the deliberate creator of your life. It's so exciting. Bite-sized chunks, 15 minutes or less per day, and it will meet you where you're at. I'm so excited for that. So Life of Magic, you can see that below. And if you'd love to gather in person and have experiences that change your life, get on the retreat waitlist for the next retreat. I've actually got 2 that I'm planning behind the scenes. I can't wait to release the information. So make sure to get on that list. Being on the list, you'll get first access, the lowest price, extra perks, etc. So just hop on the list. It's free, of course, and I'll just let you know as the details are being released. I'm so excited. So Life of Magic, get on the retreat waitlist. Anything else you need to know is down in the show notes, my Instagram and other things I have going on. I'm excited to connect. And with that, let's just dive into today's episode. So take a sip of water, take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, and let's do this. Okay, so let's talk about the power of saying yes. And first of all, I'm going to say, and I don't need to say this to you guys because you guys are intelligent humans, but I'm not saying to say yes to everything. Like, what is it, that Jim Carrey movie? I'm not saying to go out and you must say yes to everything. We're talking more subtle, but also more expansive. So I kind of feel like I need to, cover my bases there. I'm not saying say yes to drugs or whatever else you're doing, or is, comes across your path. Anyway, okay, so as we talk about the power of saying yes, it's less about yes to everything and more about yes to life. Yes to something more. Yes to divine invitations or intuitive nudges, or yes to opportunities that come forward that scare you, but it's kind of what you wanted, or they push you, or they feel expansive, or the things that feel luminous, the things that feel alive, the things that have been on your heart. Saying yes to those things, even if it doesn't make logical sense, and especially if you don't feel ready. Because yes is light. And I'm going to do my best to describe, as I always do, how it comes through my channel and how I see it, because it's hard to put words to things sometimes. But to say yes is expansive energy. Yes is light. No, is contraction. it's heavy, it's dark. So again, I'm not saying, because sometimes a no is very powerful in, lots of things with boundaries and other things. That's why I'm saying it's not a blanket statement for every single thing, because no can be very powerful. But in this episode, we're talking about yes. And when we say no to our dreams, when we shut down, when we don't think we can, when we don't think that we are capable, when we say no to our health or to what's good for us, that is contraction. That is heaviness. That is dis-ease. So in some ways, yes illuminates the path and continues to open options, whereas no closes things down. It closes doors. So when you start living in an energetic yes to that something more, and of course we're going to go so much deeper into that, into what yes can be as we go through this, but an energetic yes opens invisible doors. Life begins to move through you instead of just around you or that you're a victim of. It's like you start to have this different living, breathing experience with life. And I'm sure there's been lots of times in your life where you feel like you've been yes-based, or at least there's something that you said yes to. You're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't sure, right? Maybe it was buying a certain house or going out with somebody or moving or accepting a job or leaving a job or something that you said yes to that you're like, oh, but you're so glad you did. So when we say yes, in some ways, we stop resisting what's trying to reach you. And I do my best, again, to describe this stuff, but how my team of light shows this to me, for any of you that are new, I'm a channel and I call my collective consciousness that I channel the team of light. So how they show me what this means as far as life is trying to reach you. As humans, we are always desiring, right? We want more money or better health or better harmonious relationships or whatever. We're always asking, which is fine. We're human and that's good. It's part of expansion. And they can't just drop money into your life like randomly. Like, of course they can, as far as you get a bonus or you find some money or an unexpected whatever. But that in itself is how it reaches you. So said simply, they can't just like physically drop a Jeep into your driveway out of nowhere. It has to come through pathways. So even if unexpected money shows up today, which it can, it's going to come through something. It'll be like your dentist accounts, like, oh, you overpaid and you get a rebate back, or it's taxes, or it's a loved one saying, oh yeah, remember when you lent me $500? Here it is. It has to be physically through something. So life is trying to give you tendrils of possibility, and you don't know what's trying to come through those channels. So there might be someone on the block that's like, hey, we should go for a walk, and you want to because you want to meet friends, but you're kind of like shy and introverted and you just don't quite say yes. But maybe that person's brother is like your future husband, or maybe that person through unlikely circumstances becomes a lifelong friend. Or their, husband owns a landscaping company and then their husband ends up being best friend with your husband. I don't know. Maybe they have a job they hire you at. You never know how money and health and connection and purpose is trying to reach you. So when we start saying yes to things, we start opening up to what is trying to come your way. Because most of the time, we can only for sure know that this thing is leading to that thing once it's already really close. Again, I'm doing my best to try to describe how I see it. It's only when it gets really close to you that it seems obvious. Like, oh, if I say yes to this, I'm going to make more money, or that moves me up in the ranks in my office. But there were a whole bunch of things beforehand. There was a dinner you went out to with coworkers that led to some bigwig walking in, and then you had that connection. And now later when you're up for a promotion, you already know that person. Like, life works that way. And we can't always tell how things are going to lead us to other things. In fact, we can't tell until it's so close that it makes logical sense. So I wanted to kind of give some of that depth of, as we live awakened, as we live along with the flow of life. A yes is really important to open doors, to bring us to what's next. And here's what's wild is it's not just spiritual, it's also scientific. So we've talked about this a lot before in Life of Magic. We're talking about this on the path. We talk about this. Your brain is literally wired to find what to focus on. So your reticular activating system is in your brain, and it has a lot of functions, but one of its main functions that I'm talking about here is it's a filtering system. So it filters information to basically determine what's worthy of being passed on to like the brain and all these other things. Well, probably just the brain, but this is now out of my expertise. I don't know what happens after. But it filters our experience. So for example, if you feel like the weather is always awful, your brain is going to back up the weather's always awful. So when you look outside, your brain will filter out, say, like the clouds being parted over there, and it will focus on how right above your house it's gray. Because it needs to keep you right. It needs to keep in line with your beliefs. So if you feel that you are always in lack, when you receive a blessing or someone grabs you a coffee or you find a dime, you don't really let it in. Because your brain goes like, well, abundance and blessings, that's opposite of what I believe. So your reticular activating system literally filters your reality to keep you right. It filters information that comes in through your senses and brings forward or basically passes on. It's almost like a little bodyguard of, stimulus to be like, okay, you can go in, Kate, no. And that's how, we pick up on so much more, even just our vision, than what our brain lets us retain. So that's why, we can all perceive a room differently, or there's those videos online where you're watching like something and a gorilla walks behind. Have you ever seen that? And it's like, did anyone see the gorilla? Everyone's like, what? I was focusing on the ball, because your brain didn't allow the fact that a gorilla was walking across the screen to enter because you were focused on something else. So basically, you have a brain that filters your actual experience to keep you right and to keep you in your beliefs. And if you believe that all men are toxic, every time your boss raises his voice or your sister meets somebody new, you're going to be like, oh, careful, because it's going to filter your experience to make you right. So when we say what you focus on expands, it's not just fluff. It's like what you focus on, your reticular activating system will filter out the rest to keep you right, and you will see more of that and experience more of that. Because the person experiencing toxic men everywhere, they're experiencing it. And they might go home to a friend and say, oh my God, like this guy, he's an asshole, and this guy, and I can't trust him. And remember when Mark from high school did that thing? Because that is what they are focused on. So it's not even just energetic or spiritual, it's also the brain. So the other part about the brain is that whatever the operative word is, we're still talking about saying yes and no, I'll circle back, but whatever the operative word is, that's what your brain will focus on. So when we focus on no, meaning I want no debt or I don't want debt, the no side of it, your brain hears debt. But when you say yes to abundance, that is a completely different energy. If I say no to sickness, my brain hears sickness. My body hears sickness. When I say yes to health, health is now the operative word. So our brain works in funny ways that when we shift what we're focused on and we start looking at life differently, we do actually rewire our brain. And people say that, right? Rewire your brain. It sounds like this thing, but that's how new neural pathways, are formed. Through repetition and through focus. And your reticular activating system will change. When you've changed perceptions on something, if you used to think money was evil and now you don't, or you used to, believe that you were something and now you're not, whatever it is, that shows us that we can create new dominant thoughts, new beliefs, new pathways, basically. And this will now create dominant pathways that become your default thoughts. So I know that was a lot, and we're going to go back to like Talia, energetic, spiritual, but I find this so interesting because this is where science meets spirit, meets manifestation, and it all becomes really real. We don't just do this because a spiritual guru said to surrender. No, it's actually science as well. When we start to say yes to things, when we start to focus on what we do want, it starts to rewire our brain. So from a manifestation perspective as well, now we're going to hit it from the back. Okay. Saying yes is one of the most magnetic frequencies we can hold. When you say yes, again, you're saying yes to the invitations, the tendrils of experiences that life is trying to bring you to lead you here to what you want or to this enjoyable experience. So when you start saying yes to synchronicity and to your intuition and to what feels right and to what feels alive and what feels exciting and what feels like your desire, saying yes to yourself, you start to accelerate the manifestation process. Because as you know from all the laws and of course the celebrity law, the law of attraction, whatever we put out, we get more of. So when we say yes, the universe says yes. When we say yes, the universe responds with like, oh, okay, they're moving. And I like to use this example of the mother duck and the baby duck. So the mother duck doesn't wait for all the baby ducks to be in a line. The mother duck starts walking and the baby ducks go like, oh, they probably don't say like, oh shit, but like, oh shit, mom's leaving. And so they all get in line behind her, right? And that's how she gets them to move. We need to walk first when it comes to manifestation and creating change, but we will be supported. We will have a gaggle of baby ducks behind us, and life will scatter to like bring the pieces in together to line up with what you are doing and what you say you want. So when you say yes, it is magnetic. For everybody that joined Life of Magic, we have a practice there right at the beginning to manifest the money back you invested right away, because that's how it works. When we say yes to ourselves, we are rewarded. So whether you want to point that toward money or what you'll, receive from Life of Magic and the life-changing perceptions and tools and, oh my gosh, the boost, that's the return for saying yes. And when you go for a walk, there's a return on that. When you say yes to going for a walk, not only do you get the circulation and the heartbeat got up and you were outside breathing fresh air, but you're also saying yes to yourself, yes to your needs. So when you go on that walk, I like to think of it like an ROI, like what's the return on investment? Well, when you go for a 10-minute walk, there's a huge return. So manifestation wise, you created that walk and there was a swell of energy, which was well-being and look at me go and confidence. And then the physical movement, your hips feel better, your blood's pumping, better and free, circulation, there's the word. So there's lots that comes from that one gesture. When we say yes to what is good for us, what is on our heart, there is always a massive return because you become a vibrational match for miracles, for your next level, for the next bump of like, ooh, she's ready. Like they're saying yes to themselves. Now I can say yes to them. Do you feel that? You're asking life to say yes to you by bringing you money or bringing you a partner or bringing you well-being, but you're not saying yes to yourself and not saying yes to what life is bringing you. That's a contrast. That's a disconnect. And that's why a lot of times manifestations aren't landing because we are not a vibrational match to a yes yet. So what we have to start practicing is practicing those quiet yeses that come from within, or those nudges, or the ones that have been really loud that you've been putting off. You can go to those too. The low-hanging fruit. It's either like the little everyday things you can start saying yes to, like taking your vitamins, more water, investing in yourself, going for walks, or the huge thing that that's been coming up already in your mind as you listen to this, that you need to start saying yes to. So when we say yes to our soul, when we say yes to ourself, our dreams, our desires, when we say yes to magic, when we say yes to our health, we no longer are saying, I'll be ready when, or when life calms down, or I'm waiting for a sign, or like we do this and we all do this in our brain, but the mentality of, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. It means you need to do yoga. Or I can't meditate because I have a busy mind. It's like, that's why you meditate. So we tend to say, I can't act because I'm not ready. But you become ready as you act. So we need to start saying yes. Start saying, I'm ready now. And that declaration sends a clear message to the universe, to the universal laws, to yourself, that I'm open, I'm available. And when we start saying more yeses, it's like, lead me. Life, lead me. Where are you taking me? And it's not going to always make sense. And sometimes it's going to be scary. Other times it's just going to be like, oh, I've been stubborn and I haven't been doing this, but oh, it feels so good to say yes. And that's when the magic starts to unfold. not because you're chasing it, but because you're becoming receptive to it. Think about the times, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, where you've already said yes, the bold yes that changed everything. Or maybe it was the quiet yes that only you heard. The courageous times where you've said yes to yourself and put your foot down and changed your health or changed your situation. And sometimes it was absolutely terrifying. Other times it didn't make any sense, but it turned out to be perfect. Every one of those moments shifted your timeline. It was a nudge from your inner being saying this way. And that's the thing too, is our inner being is only ever guiding us to our next level. It's only ever in our highest good and the highest good of the world, but it's always in our highest good. So yes, it's scary, and the human in us can be scared. When sometimes I think about that, Talia's terrified, but I know that my soul is calling me somewhere bigger, and that's normal. But these things alter our path. They take us as a human and everything toward greater alignment. So you've already done this before. You've already shown me, shown you, proven to yourself that when you follow your heart, it ends up panning out. You become guided. And sometimes we follow our heart and short term, we're like, wow, that did not go as planned. But I promise you long term, we start to go, oh, okay, but that did give me the tools for this. Or that did have me meet this person. Or if I wouldn't have been here, I would have been still stuck in that marriage or, in the same town or whatever. So your next yes is your next expansion point. So I'm going to offer a practice today, as I like to do. And if you are not a member of On the Path and you love making these things tangible at the end, that's what I do over there. Is everything is, so what do I do? It's the practices. It's this is what we're going to do, as well as the deep dive energy. That's my membership space. I'd love to see you over there. The link for that is below. Again, it's called On the Path, where we take all this big stuff and make it super tangible. But I'm going to offer you a practice here today, and it's called the Yes Game. So I want you, first of all, as you've been listening to this, things have come up like, oh, I need to say yes to this, or oh yeah, I'm excited to say yes to this. So already you've felt those sparks in your body, but I want you to start to practice today saying yes to the small things that do create that spark of light in your body, that nudge, that whisper. And sometimes, I'll be going around the house. I'm like, okay, I have about half an hour left till I need to leave. Not enough time to get into something. What should I do? And I'll hear this nudge of just go for a quick walk. And sometimes I'm like, well, no, I could vacuum. And other times I'm like, yes. And it's almost like, F it, yes. Just do it. Just trust yourself as best you can, especially in those little things. Just say yes to the walk outside. Say yes to the compliment instead of deflecting it. Say yes to that idea that keeps nudging you and tapping on your shoulder. Yes to you. Yes to your highest good. Yes to being worthy. And whether that's organic food or a yoga pass, joining Life of Magic, maybe it's hiring a personal trainer or nutritionist or going to therapy or getting massages, say yes. I mean, maybe we all can't do all of those things, but say yes to those true things, quality over quantity. Say yes to what truly lights you up, to your highest good. Yes to stillness. Yes to joy. Yes to you. And you start noticing that the more you say yes to the small things, to the vitamins, to going to bed early when your body's like, we should just go to bed early tonight. The more you do that, the more life responds in the same. When you say yes, life will say yes and invite you in. Every yes, in some ways, is an act of moving forward, an act of faith, an act of co-creation. And the more you live that way, the more your life becomes a reflection of your highest frequency. And the more, as I was mentioning with the brain, that becomes your dominant thought, that becomes your dominant habit. And I want you to think about when most people think of changing their life. They want to go to the no side, right? No sugar, no gluten, get rid of everything. What if we said to yes to health? What would that mean saying yes to? Yes to more water, yes to more veggies, yes to more protein, or yes to more cooking at home. We can take our goals and instead of focusing, this goes back to my nutrition days with Food Buddha and all the stuff. That's what I would talk about is like, instead of trying to cut out all this stuff, move in the direction of what you do want in little yeses. And it's so the same as how I now teach manifestation, because to me, it's the same truth. When we try to say no, it's like, don't touch the red button. All you want to do is touch the red button. If you're like me, don't eat sugar. You're like, well, now I want sugar. Instead, say yes to the walk, say yes to the salad, or yes to making your own food at home, or yes to more raw cucumbers or whatever. What do you need to say yes to? And you start noticing that that starts to invite you into your next level, into your manifestations, and also into much more freedom in your life. So I really want you to just think about this today. And the yes game is going throughout your day and just looking at the little things that you can say yes to. When your inner being reminds you to bring water in the car, or maybe it's an invitation to go out for a cup of coffee with a friend, or go for a walk for yourself, or any of the things we've talked about, that is what I'm going to challenge you to do today. And if you're looking for a book that was coming up in my mind as I was talking about this, and it's a book that changed my life, if you have not already read it, The Surrender Experiment is like an entire book on this, really, the power of just saying yes. And he just said yes to everything in his life. And I believe it was a 20 or maybe it was 30-year experiment. I think it was a 20-year experiment. It is an incredible book by Michael Singer. It's called The Surrender Experiment. And again, Michael Singer, it is an incredible book. So I would invite you to read that if you're looking for a book or an audiobook or whatever to dive into. It's incredible. Also, if you're looking to deepen this, I would love to see you in Life of Magic, where we are saying yes to a whole lot of magic. Oh my goodness. Yes to abundance. Yes to opportunities, portals, blessings. It's going to be so incredible. I'm so excited. So thank you for being here today. Remember that saying yes opens doors. Saying yes is a prayer. It's a moving forward. It's a gesture. You're walking the path. You're doing this thing. We are saying yes to ourselves. And the moment you choose that, life starts rearranging to say yes to you. So I'm so excited for that. And I will see you in the next episode.